Welcome back, beautiful Royal Sussex Squad family. It is truly a joy to have you here once again. Every time we gather, it reminds me that community is more powerful than chaos, truth is more powerful than noise, and love is more powerful than hate. Today, as always, we come together with open hearts, steady minds, and a commitment to speak the truth about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Prince Harry and Meghan. Two souls who continue to lead with purpose, compassion, and integrity in a world determined to misunderstand them. There is something so powerful about witnessing history unfold in real time. Seeing people who have faced unimaginable trials and still rise, still walk boldly into the future with their heads held high, is truly inspiring. And that is why we are here. Because even as critics try to drown them in negativity, Harry and Meghan remain unbothered. Their lives speak louder than every inaccurate headline ever written. From the moment Harry met Meghan, their bond became a lightning rod. Not because of who they were as individuals, but because of what they represented together. Progress, diversity, modernity, and most importantly, love without limitations. It was a union grounded not in tradition for tradition's sake, but in genuine connection. And that scared a lot of people, not because Harry and Meghan did anything wrong, but because the old structures didn't know how to handle a couple who refused to play by outdated rules. Think about that early period. Meghan entered the royal space as someone with a global platform of her own, a successful career, a philanthropic history, a voice and a backbone. She came ready to serve, ready to uplift, ready to modernize. And instead of welcoming her brilliance, so many chose to see her as a threat. Her identity, her confidence, her compassion, the things that made her such an incredible partner to Harry, became the very attributes they tried to weaponize against her. But here is where the story begins to shift. Because even as the tabloids attacked her, as commentators tried to dehumanize her, and as strangers attempted to tear her spirit apart, Meghan chose kindness. She chose dignity. She chose love. And Harry, who had seen how the media destroyed his mother, recognized the same toxic patterns reappearing. He refused to let history repeat itself. He refused to let the woman he loved suffer in silence, especially when the very institution meant to protect her instead enabled the abuse. That moment, when Harry realized the system would not protect his wife, became the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter defined by courage, by conviction, and by the willingness to leave behind everything he had ever known. Not because he was turning his back on his family, but because he was standing up for his own family, his wife, his children, and his peace. We must never underestimate how difficult that decision was. People like to say, "Oh, he left because of Meghan." But that's not the truth. Harry left because he finally understood that his life had belonged to everyone except himself. His emotions, his identity, his safety, they were never his to control. They belonged to the tabloids, to the institution, to the public imagination. Meghan didn't take him away. She helped him find himself. She helped him see that he deserved a life rooted in joy, not performance. Service, not servitude. Humanity, not hierarchy. That journey is not an escape, it is evolution. And as they stepped away, the world watched in shock. Commentators predicted failure, newspapers predicted divorce. The loudest voices were the ones hoping they would crumble under the weight of their own independence. But what did Harry and Meghan do? They flourished. They built a life of intention, surrounding themselves with people who saw them as humans, not symbols. They found purpose beyond palace walls, purpose that was always within them, but now had room to breathe. Harry returned to the work most meaningful to him, supporting wounded veterans, advocating for mental health, building platforms where people can heal and be heard. Meghan continued empowering women, advancing wellness, uplifting communities, and building brands grounded in authenticity and heart. Together, they created a home where love is the foundation and peace is prioritized. What stands out most is not just what they walked away from, but what they walked into. Freedom, self-expression, creativity, global collaboration. They built Archewell not as a vanity project, but as a mission, one anchored in compassion, community, and dignity. Their work is intentionally quiet, thoughtful, and rooted in long-term change, not temporary applause. And the world responded. They forged partnerships with major organizations, developed impactful content, produced award-winning projects, and brought global attention to issues that matter. Even when critics tried to downplay their achievements, the receipts continued piling up. Because real work doesn't need noise, it produces results. Yet, as they continued thriving, the media continued reaching. Every time Meghan launched something, critics tried to tear it apart. Every time Harry succeeded, the press scrambled to invent drama. Their existence seemed to unsettle those who believed royals must remain silent and controlled. But Harry and Meghan are redefining royalty, not as a symbol of superiority, but as a platform for humanity. And still, through every storm, their love has remained unshakable. Their relationship has never been about celebrity. It has always been about partnership. They uplift each other, protect each other, and root for each other. Their marriage is built not on spectacle, but on deep emotional connection. They share purpose, they share vision, and most importantly, they share respect. That is the foundation that terrifies their critics. Because when a couple is united, grounded, and spiritually aligned, external noise becomes irrelevant. And Harry and Meghan have mastered that art. They give energy only to what matters, their children, their work, their healing, their peace. Look at their children, two beautiful souls growing up free, happy, and loved. Archie and Lily are surrounded by laughter, nature, and cultural richness. They are not being raised in the pressure cooker of royal hierarchy, where identity is predetermined before birth. Instead, they are allowed to be children first, before titles, before expectations, before headlines. And that, in itself, is revolutionary. There are so many parents around the world who wish they had the courage to break cycles, to walk away from toxicity, to protect their children at all costs. Harry and Meghan did what many dream of. They prioritize family over institution. And yet we still see commentators acting baffled by their decision. But when you value love, mental health, safety, and individual freedom, the choice becomes clear. Harry and Meghan chose life, a real life, and what is remarkable is how they carry themselves through all of this. They do not respond to every insult, they do not clap back at every headline, they do not react to every provocation. Silence, in their case, is not weakness, it's wisdom. Their silence is their strength, because energy is expensive, and they choose to invest it in things that matter, their children, their community, their purpose. That is why their story continues to resonate globally. They are not icons because of royalty, they are icons because of humanity. They are relatable. They experience pain, struggle, healing, rebirth. And they do it all under the world's brightest spotlight. Through interviews, conversations, and public appearances, Harry and Meghan have used their experiences not to gain sympathy, but to encourage understanding. They speak openly about therapy, trauma, and resilience. They normalize mental health conversations that were once considered taboo. That alone is transformative. And so many people, especially young people, have seen their vulnerability and felt empowered to face their own struggles. Harry, a prince born into unimaginable privilege, tells the world that privilege does not erase pain. Meghan, a woman who achieved success on her own, shows that strength and femininity are not opposites. They are intertwined. Their journey is not about perfection. It is about evolution, growth, awakening. They are rewriting the narrative, and whether people like it or not, their legacy is unfolding beautifully.